So 5 minutes. 5 minutes, guys. We're going in 5 minutes. This is also a mic check, sound check. If anyone needs me to keep talking, just let me know. We're doing the mic check here. We're going live in less than 5 minutes. Yep. We're doing another sound check here. Here we are at 11 Division, Toronto Police. We're doing a mic check, and we're going live in about 3.5 minutes, roughly. How's that? Good? All right. I'm going to keep talking here at 11 Division, Toronto Police. We're just waiting for our guests. We're going to be going live in about 2.5 minutes or so. Okay, keep talking here. I'm going to just keep talking, and I meant to say 3.5 minutes. That's now going to be 3 minutes in about 10 seconds. Plus add 4 to that, and then minus 3. Mic check, sound check. And that's right. I never said we're going to be on time, but we are going in 3 minutes, guys. 3 minutes. We're going in about 2 minutes and 15 seconds. 2:15. Two minutes, 2 minutes. They're probably going to be even closer like here, but just a friendly reminder, make sure your phones are off or on silent, including myself. One minute. Does that exist? Thirty seconds. 30 seconds. Fifteen seconds. 10 seconds. 5 seconds. It's a long 5 seconds. How many? Okay.
Both of us?
Yeah, and then you guys can be just as far back as you can because we're going to do
A few more minutes.
You see the sign? Yeah, it's okay.
30? 30 seconds, I'm told. Ten seconds. I've done it 3 times now. Superintendent Eklund?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Superintendent Andrew Eklund. I'm the unit commander here at 11 Division, and I want to thank you for joining us today. I want to extend a warm welcome to Chief Demkiw, Mayor Olivia Chow, and TTC's Chief Strategy and Customer Officer, Josh Colle, who will be sharing some great news to support safer communities. I also want to welcome our officers including our neighborhood community officers and our community leaders for joining us here today. I'll now turn over to Chief Demkiw. Chief.
Thank you. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us. Incredibly happy to be here today with Mayor Olivia Chow, Josh Colle, Chief Strategy and Customer Officer for the TTC. I'm also very pleased to see Meg Marshall from Bloordale BIA and Tony Palermo from Dovercourt Boys and Girls Club. Thank you for your support and for all you do here in our community. And thank you, of course, to our officers for all that you do. You are truly making a difference in neighborhoods across our great city. One of my top priorities as chief is to strengthen trust with the communities we serve. First and foremost, this is what community policing is about. It's about strengthening relationships to help build trust. Community policing means working hand in hand with the people we serve, solving problems together, and addressing issues before they become a crisis. It means bringing to life the idea of co-developing, co-designing, and co-delivering community safety and well-being with the communities we serve. Our neighborhood community officers are an essential part of how we do this. Right now, we have neighborhood community officers in 56 neighborhoods in Toronto. Last year, we announced the expansion of the NCO program into 4 new neighborhoods. And today, we are pleased to share which neighborhoods those are. I'll draw your attention to the map on the screen here, as I'm pleased to share that the communities that will get new neighborhood community officers are Dufferin Grove, here in 11 Division, Banbury, Don Mills, Victoria Village in 33 Division, Wexford, Maryvale in 41 Division, and Etobicoke City Centre in 22 Division. Each of these new communities will get 4 neighborhood community officers that we are able to provide thanks to our multi-year hiring plan. These neighborhoods were chosen based on occurrences of violent crimes and crimes involving youth, community safety indicators, proximity to transit and schools, safe TO recommendations, and other factors. And in addition, we're expanding the Neighborhood Community Officer Program to Toronto's underground transit neighborhood, the TTC subway system. We will dedicate 4 officers between Union and Wellesley Station, and another 4 officers between Bloor and Eglinton stations. This will allow us to have 7-day-a-week dedicated coverage on the Yonge Line to ensure transit riders feel safe and secure on their commute. There will also be prioritized patrols at Union and Bloor stations, and our officers will continue to work collaboratively with TTC special constables, community engagement officers, and other existing city and TTC resources to help vulnerable communities and those in crisis on the TTC. This is community-centered policing. Neighborhood community officers are embedded within communities. People know them by their first names. Their role is to address and prevent issues. For example, if they learn that 2 individuals have been in conflict and there's going to be ongoing tension between them, they can work with both parties to de-escalate and prevent violence. This kind of work benefits everyone. And if someone needs social supports or other types of care, we are well positioned to connect them with the resources they need in collaboration with our community and our city partners. This is a very unique job, and it is a very important one. Most community safety indicators are down this year, including homicides, shootings, and car thefts. We are also mindful of long-term trends that show some of these indicators have been on the rise over the past decade. Now is not the time to slow down. It is the time to continue our efforts as much as ever. Wherever I go, when I speak with city councilors, community leaders, and residents, people tell me they want to see more police presence. This includes an increased police presence on the TTC. I've met with TTC CEO Mandeep Lally to discuss how we can work together to make the TTC safer. And I can tell you that we both agree that ensuring transit users feel safe on the subway and in the stations is a top priority. And of course, we will continue to work with all our transit, community, and city partners to ensure people are and feel safe. Thank you, and I'll now turn it over to Mayor Olivia Chow.
Thank you, Chief Demkiw. Last week, I joined officers from 43 divisions on a ride-along organized by my friends at the Toronto Police Association. We met up with a neighborhood community officers team at a local strip mall where these officers know every store owner by name. I spoke with a staff at Pizza location, and they were grateful for the support from their neighborhood community officers. One employee told me he has the officers' numbers and can call anytime for help. And he said, and I even quoted him and I recorded it, 42 and 43 division, we always get help from them. They're the best. These neighborhood community officers make the strip mall safer for businesses, for workers, customers, and families. People feel confident calling them when they need help because they trust these officers will be there for them. That's a model of policing that builds safer communities together. And that's what we are doing more today. These officers work in the same neighborhoods every day. They get to know people over time and build trust. When that happens, crime goes down and people feel safer. They can do the same thing on transit, stopping crime before it happens and getting help to people fast when emergencies occurred. Recently, I announced more frontline workers on transit, mental health workers, outreach workers for people experiencing homelessness, and more special constables. That's hundreds more people you see across the system. The Toronto Police Neighbourhood Community Officers work alongside with the entire TTC team. They add another layer of safety and help to stop crime before it starts. They show TTC riders that keeping transit is a top priority for all of us. Because to reduce traffic and keep Toronto moving, we need transit that is safe and reliable. My 2025 budget pays for more neighborhood community officers and the Toronto Police 5-year hiring plan, which includes 720 more officers and more 911 call takers. These investments are already showing results. 911 wait times are down 70%. Crime rates are dropping and shootings are down 70%. Through investment in community programs, we're also helping at-risk youth choose a better path. Our summer safety plan reached 15,000 young people with recreation and violence prevention programs in partnership with the police. Youth gun violence is down quite dramatically. And yesterday, I announced a job training plan to double the number of young people we can support. Our approach to community safety is working, and the neighborhood community officers we are announcing today will make it even stronger. Next year's budget is in development right now, and we will continue with the hiring plan, the neighborhood officers, and the youth investments. Delivering a caring, affordable, and safe city has been my commitment from the very beginning. So thank you, Chief Demkiw, and thank you to all the officers who keep Toronto safe every day. I appreciate your dedication and your service to our city and fellow Torontonians. Take care of yourself on the road, and please stay safe. Let me bring out Josh Colle from the TTC.
Thank you, Mayor Chow. On behalf of the TTC, on behalf of our CEO, Mandeep Lally, our thousands of employees, and millions of customers, I want to thank both you, Mayor, and Chief Demkiw for your support and partnership as we all work together to keep the TTC safe. We know our customers are looking for a public transit system that serves their needs, and critical to this is safety. We've heard it time and again from them. To this end, the TTC has invested significantly in efforts aimed at responding to these needs. This, of course, includes increasing the number of trained professionals that are working in our system every day and every night. On top of our subway, streetcar, wheel-trans, and bus operators, we've added more station staff, special constables, fare inspectors, and security guards. In addition to our team of people, we've partnered with the City of Toronto to deploy specially trained crisis and outreach workers to help with some of our most vulnerable customers. This large group of TTC and partner staff will now be complemented by Toronto Police and the Neighbourhood Community Officer program. In the face of a rapidly changing world that's more and more challenging, and a world outside of our system that brings challenges, it's more critical than ever that we partner to support the people inside and on our system. The Neighbourhood Community Officer program is another example of the City, Toronto Police, and the TTC partnering to respond to what we are hearing from our customers and our employees. We are really keen to welcome Toronto Police officers into our system, and will continue to look for ways to work with our partners to enhance the customer experience and bring people back to transit. This initiative builds on the TTC's comprehensive community safety, security, and well-being plan that was recently introduced and adopted by our board. Beyond our commitment to partnership, this plan sees us focusing on improving communication, engaging with our customers, enhancing training, upgrading our facilities and spaces, and of course, reporting transparently on our progress. But our approach is not static. We'll continue to work with our industry partners to learn from them and adopt best practices. We'll embrace and test new technology like we are now, and of course, we'll introduce new safety initiatives as time passes. I want to again thank the Chief and the Mayor and Toronto Police and the City for their partnership and leadership. Safety remains our top priority at the TTC, and we'll continue with our efforts to ensure that our customers and employees not only are safe, but that they feel safe. Thank you very much.
And we will now take some questions, so please state your name and who your question is for.
Josh, can I ask, get you up there first, just because it's a TTC question. Matthew Bingley from Global News. I'm just wondering, obviously, it's Eglinton to Union. Why was that line, or portion of the line, prioritized as opposed to line 2 or the remainder of line 1?
Yeah, thanks for the question. So really it's data driven, right? We track all of our incidents on the system, and so it's driven by where there are the most incidents, and so where we've asked for in our partnership with police is to have those officers and that uniform presence on that portion of line 1. I don't want to hold anyone to where we might go next, but right now it's really driven by where there's need and what we're hearing from our customers and our employees.
Chief Demkiw, can I ask you a question here? Just wondering the difference between, what has already been laid out, provincial offences officers, security guards who are already in there, and trained professionals that work with people in social crisis. Why are neighbourhood community officers poised to augment that more? And to people who have already pointed out that a problem could occur at one station, they call for help, report it on the app, and then that person is gone. They need immediate help. It's a big network. How are 8 officers really going to help?
Well, I appreciate that question, and unpacking a little further how we make these operational decisions. Just kind of back to your first question of the TTC. The operational deployment of police officers, we do based as much as we humanly can on the evidence available to us. And when you look at line 1 in that stretch, there's a large amount of transit usage there and a great amount of calls for service compared to other parts of the system. And we also know that there are different times of day, days of the week, where there's peak activities in those areas that draw resources from us as a service, but also from our partners. So when you looked at all the data holistically, it made sense to go there as a starting point. But I want to kind of clarify one little thing. We have neighborhood community officers across the city. Wherever they touch transit facilities, our NCOs are already engaged with those communities in those neighborhoods. So while we have a dedicated NCO program deploying into the underground network here on Line 1, we have coverage already in many parts across the city where our neighborhood community officers already engage with transit users in the transit footprint in the neighborhoods where they're assigned. So that is, you know, to your point, it is a whole of system approach and a holistic view. We've gone into the underground deliberately in this area because of the data, but we are already across the network. I think what also harken back to, you know, we saw a spike in the need for integration of effort in the city, and the police and transit have worked very closely together to integrate our efforts over the last couple of years. And we've seen the demand on services from us start to decline. We've seen the reported incidents of violence start to decline. And we can tell that our presence is making a difference. But to be clear, we are actually across the system in different ways where we have NCOs now.
Megan Fitzpatrick from CBC News. Chief Demkiw and perhaps Mayor Chow, if I could both get you to answer this question. CBC published an investigation, broadcast an investigation today. They crunched a lot of numbers about transit safety across the country in recent years, and their investigation showed a 160% increase in violent incidents on Toronto Transit in the last couple of years. So just your general reaction to those numbers, and wondering what your message is to transit riders in this city. I heard a couple times at the news conference you guys talking about wanting customers to feel safe, but many don't, despite the efforts and measures that you've outlined. So your reaction to the numbers and your message to riders today.
Well, to be fair, I haven't actually seen the article yet in detail or been briefed on their specific numbers, but you know, I think we got to look at the evidence we have here in the City of Toronto. And in the City of Toronto, we are seeing a decline in calls for service. We are seeing a decline in reported incidents of violence by riders. We have seen the rise 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago. We definitely saw that. You'll recall we deployed in a unique way at the start of 2023 into the transit system. And since then, there's been a very much a comprehensive multidisciplinary approach to dealing with the issues within the transit system. And we are seeing a difference. We are seeing a difference in the metrics as it relates to safety, call demand, service demand, regarding crime and disorder. We are seeing a difference. Those numbers are going in the right direction. But we also know, as you said, riders don't always feel safe, and we need to increase the sense of safety. We have over 2.5 million trips a day taken on this system, every day, between buses and underground subway usage. An incredible amount of ridership. Upwards of 1 million people a day use this critical infrastructure in our city. And the level of reporting is going in the right direction. And in fact, there is no metric that wouldn't suggest that the TTC is very much a safe system as it relates to a public transit system. And the metrics are going in the right direction. And I think today what we see is the continued evolution that not one agency has every answer. It's going to take multiple disciplines to come together, which we have done in a very unique way under the umbrella of Safety-O, Toronto's Community Safety Wellbeing Plan. And we brought very, very significantly different resources to bear to deal with the issues that are being confronted throughout the transit system, and we're making a difference.
Thank you for your question and your research. That was a very comprehensive report that came through. What I do want to point out is before I came to office, the violence in the TTC was at its highest, and since then it has been dropping. And just today I've confirmed it's 25% drop in terms of the number of customers having violent incidents. And we've taken significant steps to make the system safer. We have, in fact, increased over 400 frontline people inside the TTC. We have, if you want me to name them, 160 additional TTC staff and supervisors are now on stations and platforms compared to 2023. 137 TTC special constables with more in training. We have 111 provincial offense officers and 13 supervisors. We have quite a large number of streets-to-home outreach staff to bring the people that should not be in the subway into or buses to shelters. We have the multidisciplinary outreach team, and one of them are the Toronto Community Crisis Team that we've just announced is coming on. And we also have community safety ambassadors. They're the ones that have the red shirts, etc. So it seems to be working. The numbers are trending down and people are feeling safer. Maybe you can quote the exact statistics of the 25%.
Sure. Thanks, Mayor Chow. And maybe I'll just start by contextualizing and just noting that, of course, we know there are challenges. This is industry-wide. Our peers across Canada, across the United States, as your article points out, identify some of the things that have emerged out of the pandemic. The good news is that the numbers are trending in the right direction. And so, as the Mayor Chow cited, incidents against customers have gone down year over year by over 25%. While I can cite a lot of numbers, I think the most important thing is what are we hearing from our customers and what are we hearing from those who have maybe left transit. And one thing that is clear is that they want to see more people, more trained people on our system. And we've responded with that over the last couple of years. And in particular, they've said, we encourage you and we want to see the police on the system. So I think why we're so pleased with today's announcement is a direct response to what our customers are telling us, and we hear it from them regularly, and they do want to see a uniform police presence in the system, and so we're pleased that this will become a reality in the coming days.
And just to clarify, when will these officers start working on the transit system? And Chief, you did mention that you did put officers in the transit system in 2023, but that was just temporary. Yep. So why the decision to end that? And now you are bringing them back, and I gather this will be a permanent initiative? Yeah, so to be clear, what's happening now is our Neighbourhood Community Officer program expanding into these neighborhoods and transit. We are in the moment going through our internal process of identifying officers for those roles, and they should be in position to be deployed before the end of this year in all these neighborhoods, including their transit deployment. And permanent? Yes, they will be permanently deployed as neighborhood community officers in these 4 neighborhoods and that part of the transit system.
All right, this question is for the Chief, Shauna, City News. We're closing in on the end of 2025, and you did allude to it a little bit earlier. There does seem to be this steady downward trend when it comes to violent crime. Homicides are down by more than half. In fact, this year could end as having one of the lowest homicide rates in really recent memory, at least 5 years. Gun violence down too. So what is working? What has changed? And what is having this impact?
So that's a great question. And, when crime goes up, I often talk about the complexities that contribute to rising crime and why people engage in crime. And the answer to solving it is equally complicated. We are, of course, doing everything we can to use our data more, to share information more, to integrate our efforts more, not just across the policing sector, but with our partners at the city and our communities, which we know makes a difference. We know we can get ahead of things better when we work in partnership, in collaboration, in coordination with all the other people who have a role in community safety and well-being. So we're doing that better, and we're continuing to iterate that and improve that, and are committed to partnering better, using data more. And we're also becoming much more hyper-localized in our response. We have a finite amount of resources. We know that. We know that every time, we'll be talking about it in the coming weeks, in the budget cycle. There is a finite amount of police officers and bandwidth in this organization. We need to be hyper-localized where we can attend to the issues that are most pressing in the community. The NCO program is one of those key programs that is making a difference, because it allows us to partner locally and get ahead of things better before a crisis evolves, before a conflict escalates to physical confrontation, and escalates to gun violence or any other violence. We are better positioned now to get involved in disrupting those activities and doing everything we can to help resolve any conflicts in our community or any criminality in our community uniquely differently. I'd also, you can't help but note the issue of safety and security has become a provincial and federal conversation. And we have seen a greater sense of awareness in our communities, amongst political leaders and other people, to drive change in what's available to us as a service, what's available in the justice system, how things are administered through the courts that help deter and otherwise prevent ongoing criminality. So all of these things and more, there's more to talk about, help impact that. But I think what's important to recognize now is the time to double down on those efforts and continue to push forward. We are not where we want to be. And I am one to certainly point to the incredible work our police officers do each and every day, going into harm's way, dealing with incredibly complex things, but they continue to need support to get that done and continue to need support in their efforts to partner and collaborate with communities and agencies and other people who have a stake in community safety and well-being.
Okay, it has been a challenging year when it comes to youth involved in violent crime. We've had many young teenagers charged with murder, even 12-year-olds. Obviously, community officers, in some of these neighborhoods, I'm sure helps a little bit, but this is a really, multifaceted problem. So, what is police doing to get to these youth?
Such a great question, and I'm glad you actually focused on youth in the context of all that we deal with. We've been ringing the alarm bell on youth involved in violent crimes, particularly gun crimes, for the last couple of years. In the last couple of years, we have seen youth apprehended in regards to firearms charges more than double. You've heard me talk about youth involved in murders in our city. It is an incredibly concerning issue that we are one stakeholder in. But there are many, many stakeholders, and I really want to focus us back to the SAFETO 10-year community safety and well-being program that the city is driving that involves a multidisciplined approach to all the different things we deal with in our society, but youth especially. It's going to take a number of different partners to come together and keep at it over the long term and be resourced in a way that helps continue the supports that are necessary to disrupt that pattern of activity. And in addition, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, we need a justice system approach that deters young people from picking up firearms and getting involved in gun violence or violent robberies or any other activity that we've seen on the rise. We need a system that deters that kind of activity and holds offenders accountable in a realistic way that disrupts this ongoing concern that we are all looking to address.
Ali Chiasson, CBC Toronto. We've seen reports that the Toronto Police might be winding down the mobile crisis intervention teams. I believe there was an internal memo from the police alluding to that. Just a question as to why that might be.
Yeah, listen, I think, again, somebody mentioned context. Let's add some context here to something that perhaps has been reported on out of context. We have been talking about in the last while that we are shifting the paradigm around our approach to mental health. And the shift is really driven by the notion that mental health is first and foremost a health issue. Let me be clear on that. When we are called to a person in crisis, first and foremost, this is actually a health issue that has a safety factor. And we need to shift the paradigm, including in our own operations, but importantly with our partners, to ensure that we're doing everything we can to bring a healthcare lens to what is clearly a health issue. And what we are talking about is re-envisioning our approach to our response to people in crisis and looking at the other partners that are within the system that may be able to be empowered through some legislative reform or other changes to provide the right care or better care that people need at the time of particular distress. We're not the only player in this space. We have become a focus of response to people in crisis and mental health because of historic changes in the healthcare system and other pressures. I think it's now time, and we are driving this change, to refocus the response to mental health to be a health response, and that our response should be minimized to where it's needed most, which we of course acknowledge. There is going to be times when the police are absolutely required. There is no timeline to sunset MCIT. There are so many variables that need to come together, that need to happen before that can be envisioned. But what we are telling everybody is it is time to re-envision the response to mental health in a way that brings the health sector to the forefront and brings the police into it to the most minimal amount necessary for the best possible health care and safety outcome for those impacted by mental health issues.
Hi there, Mattis Habibinya, Toronto Star. My question's for the Mayor Chief, if you don't mind, just shifting the topic onto speed cameras, Mayor Chow. We're hearing that we got about 20 school zone signs that don't fit on our city poles. Is that accurate, and what has the province said they're going to do about it?
Yes, we have received signs for 20 school zones. And yes, they're too big, and we have to get new poles. The province said they would cover the cost. Speed cameras save lives, and it fund a lot of safety, whether they're police officers, there's 17 of them, over 900 crossing guards, and 20 location, 4 signs per location. We have received the signs.
150 speed camera locations and 641 school zones. Is that it? Is just 20?
Yeah, there's no option to ask for more signs.
What do you mean by that?
Meaning that we cannot get more than 20 unless the province decide that they would increase the number of locations. So yes, we have 150 speed cameras, and they are in school zones, and the cameras rotate because there are 641 school zones in total. We have told the province we need new posts. They're going to fund us for the new posts, but unless they change their mind, 20 locations is it, and it can't be rotated.
Sorry, I'm just a little confused. Why 20? Like, is it that they
I don't know
fund
why
more?
20 locations. Okay. I didn't make that decision. It's up to the provincial government.
Okay.
And there are no options to ask for more signs unless someone changed their mind. Okay. I just want to say just 2 quick things, the last 2 questions on safety and youth safety. Yesterday we just had a summer youth safety plan evaluation, and the police are very much part of that plan, and there are a lot of programs that support young people, because when school's out, they need to do something. So our plan was able to engage a large number of young people, I think 15,000 young people. And there are special programs, whether there's mentorship program or violence or conflict resolution trainers in schools. There are programs in school that we've heard from school that said used to be 3 fights a day, no fights anymore, because the young people learn how to de-escalate. So all of that, with everyone's support, you're seeing that there are now good impact.
I hope you'll bear with me. I have one question on the signs, and then I have a question about speed cameras for both the mayor and the police chief. Councillor in Brampton has raised concerns that the size of the signs themselves, being in school zones, could create blind spots and difficulty seeing, and that they might actually in themselves be a danger to kids and to pedestrians.
I will look into it, whether the signs are too big or not, whether it's blocked a blind spot. I hope not. I just know that the signs are so big that it doesn't fit into our post. So, and I do know that we do have 150 speed cameras locations. So I don't know what the provincial government is planning to do dealing with it. We tell them that speed kills, and we need to make sure people are not speeding, especially in school zones.
Thank you, Mayor. And to the Chief. Chief, over the course of the year, we have seen dozens of incidents of vandalism and destruction of speed cameras across the city. To date, there have been no arrests and only one photo released by police. Could you update us on the status of that investigation, please?
Well, the only update I can offer is that it is certainly ongoing, to the extent that if new information comes to light, we'll follow up every lead we have and every lead we can. But there's been no arrest to date, and beyond that, we'll wait and see how things unfold.
And the same question now for you and the mayor. Considering that there have been no arrests and the cameras are now gone, have the vandals won?
Yeah, listen, the short answer is no. They have not. These are policy decisions made by others that, as the chief, I'm not going to comment on any further. I think we've been clear enough on that, what our feelings are as a sector and what we are doing as a city from the police perspective. But the short answer is no.
Mayor, do you have confidence that this is an active investigation by police?
I do, and they may be, they are investigating, and it's hard to ask them to tell us as part of the investigation, tell us the details. I don't think that would work very well. So I trust the chief and his team to get to the bottom of all these criminals that actually, and charge them with mischief, and they should get the kind of punishment that they deserve, because they are destroying properties.
Have the criminals won in this case? The cameras are gone, no arrests.
That is a political decision.
Hi, Janice Golding from CTV News. I just had a brief question actually about the program and its deployment. So you've got 4 officers that are going to be deployed into certain neighborhoods, another 8 on the subway system. Can you just tell us how it's going to work on the subway particularly? How are you going to roll this out?
Yeah, so our Neighborhood Community Officer program, they work in teams of 4, 2 on, 2 off. And that allows us to have 7-day-a-week coverage. So in each of these neighborhoods, including those on the subway, we'll have at any given time 2 neighborhood community officers working. And the way they deploy is typically to address the needs of those neighborhoods. So, unique considerations by neighborhood. In the transit system, we are looking at peak times when we'd be most effective to be present based on a number of metrics, and you'll see officers in and around those times. On top of that, there'll be some very specific attention paid to different areas of that, and as I said, Bloor and Union as unique crossover points in the transit infrastructure. They'll get a unique amount of attention from our neighborhood community officers in the transit system.
Okay. And a follow-up question, actually a separate question. CAA released a study finding that impairment was most evident at 90 minutes after consumption of cannabis, et cetera. So its effects may not be noticeable until a motorist is already behind the wheel. We just want to know what Toronto Police are seeing when it comes to cannabis use amongst drivers. Are you able to catch users with the standardized tests?
Well, I don't have the data in front of me. We do have experts trained in recognition of drug impairment or impairment through drugs. I think what underlies that message is, or that set of stats, is the message of don't drive after consuming drugs. Just don't do it. You will not understand the level of impairment. So the simple message is don't drive while you're high. That would be the message I take away from that stat. Well, I think any effort to intervene on drivers and their level of impairment is a unique set of police officer skills and engagement. So I'm not going to comment on what's more difficult or not. It really is contextual on an individual set of circumstances presented at the roadside that officers have to evaluate.
Toronto Today. Thank you. It's just a 2-part question for you, Chief Demkiw. Talking about expansion in terms of speed cameras, is there likely to be a ramping up of traffic enforcement next year?
Well, listen, I think I think, I've talked about this before. One of the priorities we drove this year as an organization is the understanding that every police officer in the city has a role to play in road safety. So we have our dedicated teams at traffic services. Every division has some dedicated efforts in regards to speed enforcement that will be informed by the hyper-localized analysis of where they're needed. So school zones and the like, where perhaps we had cameras deterring driving behavior, unit commanders will evaluate whether to deploy their resources there. But on top of that, we are driving an organizational approach to traffic safety in general, with a greater recognition that it is every police officer's role to contribute to traffic safety in all of their times that they're traveling throughout the city. So you're going to see more enforcement, not just at the local divisional level, but across the city in different ways as we continue to onboard police officers, build capacity at frontline service delivery in ways that we've not had over the last decade. And with that will come a focus on traffic safety as part of their day-to-day duties.
Thank you. And for you, Mayor Chow, a similar question through your lens. As you're looking to negotiate the police budget next year, is expanded traffic enforcement one of the things that you would like to see the Toronto Police Service do?
The City of Toronto already fund officers that are specifically, their task is road safety, and we'll continue to fund them. We will need to find extra funding because that funding used to come from the fines that we get from the speed cameras for the people that have violated driving too fast. So we'll have to find extra funds to cover that portion. But I know we are not going to take them off the street. That would not be a wise move. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Great. Thank you so much.
That concludes the press conference.